haven't posted a long form video on YouTube in about 10 months.
Hello, I'm Juana,
I'm Nick.
and welcome to About 6 Acres. We're actually not at About 6 Acres, we're out and about because we are getting ready to go early vote. The last video that we did was all about free mulch, and it was actually 10 months ago, so we've taken a longer hiatus than I thought. I thought it'd be helpful for us to reflect a little bit on why we stopped posting, and the biggest reason is when you are new to a homestead, and you have a whole list of projects to deal with, adding the element of doing videos, YouTube, social media, and editing. The editing part is really the part that is the most time consuming. It just is another stressor that we felt we didn't need.
We didn't really have a good schedule down because, again, we added more animals, we added more projects, so we were still getting used to that, and then having to take time away to edit videos with the technology that we had.
What we ended up doing was making a list of the priorities that we had, and basically long form videos took a back seat. We would post shorts. We were very active and still are pretty active on Instagram, sharing some of our progress. So we didn't just abandon all social media and all sharing of our journey. The biggest part of it was time. We felt like we needed to use our time in a manner that helped our infrastructure while it limited us quite a bit on our YouTube and potential growth. And we thought our hiatus would be 3 months. But as we were going through it, we were learning skills that were commanding a lot more of our attention. So one of the big projects at the beginning of the year was the chicken coop.
So we were learning construction skills, learning how to use certain tools, learning how to read plans and adjust them and try to put our little flair into it as well, and battle the weather while we do it. So it was a fun learning experience because, again, Juan and I don't have a lot of construction or building experience, so we wanted to make sure we did things right.
We had the very cold, we had a lot of rain in the spring, and so all of those elements just added up to many delays and many long nights. When we were working on the roof for our chicken coop, Nick and I are both not fans of heights, and I decided that I would be helping do the roof because I could handle the height a little bit better than Nick, but also if I fell, Nick could catch me, whereas if Nick fell, I could not catch him. That's a true conversation, by the way. Now we're excited because we know we can do those things. The third thing is we were going through breeding season
With the goats.
Yes. So we thought it would be great content, obviously, and we filmed a lot of it.
Freaking out about every single social media post.
When you are part of a goat breeding Facebook group, let's say, you do get a lot of the worst case scenarios. We were not sure what to expect, and then we were almost shocked when we read a statistic that was like 95% of goat births are normal and 5% are not. And meanwhile, 95% of the posts that you see are all about those 5%. We were so hyper-focused on making sure that our does were healthy, that the births were set. We had to make a little bit of changes to our goat area. That's where our attention went. And then gardening season was upon us.
A lot of things came quick, and we had to just roll with it. So we wanted to obviously plant more things this year. We planted a lot of seeds.
And we did very well this year. Like, our sweet potatoes didn't do great, but we had some. Mm-hmm. Our potatoes didn't do great, but we did a couple of experiments, and so we were not sure what to expect. And that was okay. We had a lot of tomatoes, way more tomatoes than I think we anticipated, but it's perfect because whereas we were eating mostly in season, now we actually have tomatoes canned and frozen. Last year we had very, very little preserved because we were eating them in season. Having a food stash is also good because it's a lot easier and a lot healthier than running to the store. And life comes at you fast, and just because you're in a homestead doesn't shield you from a lot of life. And so a deer hit our car and it totaled it. It caused quite a bit of disruption for about a month and a half. And we wound up having to get a new car. Well, the new to us car. Well, the check that the insurance gives you does not cover the cost of a car nowadays. Nick wound up getting a part-time job to help out with getting us out of the car payment as quickly as possible. It's a very flexible part-time job, which means he can do everything else that he was doing. I'm helping out a little bit more with the morning chores before I go to work.
Things happen. You have to, again, adjust your priorities, and because you don't want to get burnt out. The co-op that we have locally, like our Homestead group, I think they said like within the first 5 years, a lot of homesteaders stop because they get burnt out because you're trying to do a lot.
If you are considering starting to homestead, I think our biggest advice would be go slow.
Because again, you want to see what, especially if you're new to the land or new to the area and new to homesteading in general, you want to know how your land is going to work. You're going to want to live through a couple season changes to know your weather and stuff. And then you may think you like something and then try it out and be like, this is not what I expected. Let me do something else. And then there's a lot of learning. So I think that's the most interesting part. Give yourself time and the ability to learn and to fail, because that's super important. And don't beat yourself up for failing, because that's, I think, the number one teacher. So you know what's going to work and what's not going to work.
The other thing that I would say is focus on the things that you love. We really wanted a homestead. We really wanted goats. And that's what we went and got first. And I love that for us because we didn't get stuck in this cycle of, well, we don't have chickens and we should get chickens. Instead, we got our goats. We figured if goats is what we wanted and we failed with goats, we could always backtrack and add chickens. But if we failed with chickens, we would never get to goats. And so definitely focus on those things that you love first, and then go and do the other things as you can. Now, it might seem like the opposite, what I'm going to say next, but I think focus on things that give you the best return for your investment. And the reason it might sound opposite is because when you have chickens, that's probably a very good return for your investment.
Yeah, I think so.
So if you're unsure of what you want with animals, chickens give you a very good return, I think. But again, start with what you love. If you love gardening, start with gardening. If your favorite thing about homesteading is, canning and preserving, then focus on those things. If you enjoy working with your hands, then do those things, because those things give you life.
Find community, whether that's, a local co-op that could teach stuff, or classes, people at your church that do some things. Maybe they make bread or they make cheese or do something like that. Or if you're on social media, find like-minded people and ask for advice and really develop relationships, right? Because I think Juan and I talked about it a lot, that homesteading, a lot of people say it's about self-sufficiency. That's true, being able to grow your own things and produce your own food, but I think it's developing community as well, because we're made to be relational. Some awesome neighbors that welcomed us, that lived on both sides, and we get to share with them. Our one neighbor brings us fish when he goes fishing, when he has excess, so that's something we don't get to do. We don't get to go fishing, and we give him eggs or sweet potatoes. And our other neighbor came over and saw us building the chicken coop, and said, hey, I got this piece of plexiglass. So it's, you know, you develop relationships with people. Sometimes I know for me, I'm an introvert, not afraid of meeting people, but prefer not to, but you get to meet some interesting people, share the blessings and resources that you have with them, and be able to receive in return.
So we're glad we're back. We're excited to share some of the footage that we have from what we've been up to, but just where we go from here. And we hope you stay with us for our journey. Drop your channel and we will subscribe to it if you have a channel, because again, we love seeing how other people tackle similar problems to what we have, or just, you know, just the community and relationship aspect of it. We want to cheer you on as well. So thank you for watching.
And remember, you are awesome. You are loved.
And if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe.